Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing New.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Canelo Alvarez versus Dmitry Bivol makes 0 sense. And look, let me just break it down honestly and objectively as possible. You see the manager of Dmitry Bivol came out on the potential of a Canelo Alvarez fight and states that I know 100% what we're willing to take, and we're willing to take less than Billy Joe Saunders or Callum Smith. I've heard rumors of what the numbers are, and yes, we are willing to take less. Now that's a very interesting statement from his manager, and I get it. Dmitry Bivol would love a fight with Canelo Alvarez. Who wouldn't? I mean, Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing. He's the cash cow in boxing. This guy, has everyone in and around his weight class wanting to fight him for the biggest payday of their careers. This is what you do to be great by beating a great fighter. Canelo Alvarez is arguably pound for pound number one, has the best resume in boxing right now, and consistently fighting champions after champions after champions. He's fighting guys like, Danny Jacobs, Sergey Kovalev, Triple G, and he's already fought other guys in the sport like the great Floyd Mayweather, Idris Landy Lara. So you can see that he's literally fought almost any and every style of boxing you can fight. He's free smoke for pretty much anyone that he wants to fight. There's no one that Canelo Alvarez is ducking or avoiding. So at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez is truly a great fighter, and he's looking for the best challenges. My only problem with Dmitry Bivol is that this fight right now makes literally 0 sense. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first reason why that it makes no sense is that Dmitry Bivol facing Canelo Alvarez at 168, Canelo Alvarez simply wouldn't get any credit. People are already trying to discredit literally everything that Canelo Alvarez does in his career. They try to discredit the Sergey Kovalev, yet Sergey Kovalev still had a height and reach and weight advantage over Canelo Alvarez, but they still try to discredit that win. They try to discredit, Danny Jacobs. At the end of the day, Danny Jacobs was the heavier man than Canelo Alvarez. He was bigger, he was stronger, he has height and reach, and yet they still try to take that from him. No matter what this guy does, they try to take from him. And this is fanboy rhetoric. And it would be no different with Dmitry Bivol. Everyone would say Canelo would need to go to his weight at 175 and fight him. But why would Canelo need to go to 175 when he does not campaign at 175? He campaigns between 160 and 168. Those are his weight classes. He simply went to 175 for a one-off fight to win another belt in another division. So it makes no sense because Canelo Alvarez simply wouldn't get credit for beating Dmitry Bivol at 168. At 175, I think the fight is closer. I would lean towards Bivol at 175. But at 168, I think Canelo Alvarez clearly and convincingly beats Dmitry Bivol in a close competitive fight. At the end of the day, I don't think Canelo Alvarez would get the credit for facing and beating Dmitry Bivol at 168 pounds. People would use the excuse that he came down in weight, even though Dmitry Bivol asked for it, even though Dmitry Bivol wanted it, even though Dmitry Bivol called for this fight and was willing to take less. I don't believe Canelo Alvarez would get the credit for this fight because fanboys will overlook the fact that Canelo Alvarez didn't ask for it, the fact that Dmitry Bivol is still a problem for anyone else at 168, but if Canelo does it, it's a different standard. They don't like to keep that same energy. And my second issue with Canelo Alvarez and Dmitry Bivol fighting, and why it doesn't make sense is that Dmitry Bivol doesn't have a belt. And I'll put it like this. Canelo Alvarez has already been stating that, that he's looking for guys with belts. He's looking for the Billy Joe Saunders, and he's trying to save that fight, but he's trying to get the price right. He's looked for guys like, Callum Smith. Callum Smith turned it down. Caleb Plant turned it down. So you see that the guy is looking for champions in the weight class to secure and solidify his hold at 168 and where he stands and belongs in that division. But ultimately, he cannot accomplish that facing a guy like Dmitry Bivol, who's literally accomplished nothing in the division. And so at the end of the day, Dmitry Bivol simply doesn't make sense. Yes, he's willing to take less, but it sounds like Dmitry Bivol is desperate for a payday. And I get it, the guy is wanting to get the big fights, he's wanting the big names. And the big problem I also have with that is Dmitry Bivol is avoiding the smoke from Archer Beterbiev. That should be your primary focus, is a unification with Archer Beterbiev, becoming undisputed, becoming great. And once you do that, you and the Canelo Alvarez clash would be absolutely massive. But simply because you are looking the other way on that fight, it simply doesn't make any sense. You're not a champion in the division. Canelo wouldn't get any credit, and you're semi-openly ducking Archer Beterbiev. So at the end of the day, these are the reasons why it simply makes no sense for Canelo Alvarez to fight Dmitry Bivol right now. Do I think it'll be a good fight? Absolutely. Would I like to see the fight? I think it'll be a great fight. I would like to see the fight, but I think those are the reasons why it simply doesn't make sense, even at a pay cut for a guy like Dmitry Bivol, because he does not fight at 168, and then because he would be moving down in weight, people would perceive that as a disadvantage, and once again, they would blame Canelo Alvarez. But once again, Unbiased as always, just the IBFP.